Wow, what an incredible group of people here. I'm just so, yes. Yep, how's that? Yeah, just so honored to be here in this room full of, there's a lot of love in this room. Yeah. And I think as I'm learning a little bit more about Conservancy, I see half of it in this room. I see half of it in this room. The other half is missing. And I think what we're here today to do is really strengthen the half that is here and figure out a way how we can encourage the other half to get on board. So how many of you have seen the other half, meaning the city? How many of you have seen those little ramps around town? Those little brightly painted ramps? All right. Yeah, so in 2011, a bunch of us got together with an intention to raise awareness about the importance of a barrier-free society, the importance of a storefront that everyone can access, our human right to equal access, and how we as Ontarians enjoy legislation that mandates a fully barrier-free Ontario by 2025. So it was a small, mighty group of friends and family, and we built 13 ramps for those businesses in the Junction neighborhood. And as some of you may know, the project went viral. It was covered in the news. Spacing Magazine wrote an article about it. It appeared in Now Magazine, and the word got out why this project was so important and how not only the businesses benefit, the customers benefited, and the residents loved the project. All of a sudden, we started hearing from people all across the city and beyond. They wanted us to figure out a way to bring our project to their neck of the woods. And so our little team all of a sudden grew into what is now, hundreds of volunteers that span right across the country. So we now have those brightly painted ramps appear in over 50 communities across the country. There's over 1,300 of them from coast to coast, and we're now working with communities around the world. So this concept of going from the ground up, working on a vital little plan to encourage the powers that be, the decision makers, the policy makers, to start thinking about what works well for everyone is a really, really effective way of doing things. And we've had communication with the city here to figure out how those ramps can live on a more permanent basis. So that just really supports how when we do something in a disruptive way, and get collective buy-in about why it's important, policymakers start listening. So there's a formula to all of this. It comes with a really wacky acronym. It's called FAFMBEF. It's called FAFMBEF. And I'll just quickly go through the acronym with you to reinforce what I've been talking about, because there is a formula for this, and the 50% of the Conservancy that's in this room, I'd just like to leave you and invite you to work with it, embrace it, and be ambassadors for it. I feel like as a province, as Ontarians, we have this important goal for a barrier-free future. We're all going to need to rely on some form of barrier-free amenity. At some point in our lives, we become parents, our mobility changes, we age. All of a sudden, our ability to move around will inevitably change. We have an injury or we develop an illness, and all of a sudden, again, our mobility will change. So adopting a FAFMBEF approach where we look at our frustration the frustration of not being able to perhaps get up onto the shelter by the playground, or get through the little tiny space that exists when the tents are up during the farmer's market, and the edge of that is scary. Yeah, we can all there's frustration there. How do we look at these pinch points that aggravate us? How do we make them aware? How do we make people aware of these issues that affect so many people? How, when tilling up the sand in the playground, doesn't work for hard-wheeled devices, and how well these old pavement treatments don't work well for many people. Making everybody aware of that and getting conversations started about it. So the second F is how we can do things for free. So how we can bring people together to be of service, how we can create things, really simple changes by maybe just putting down some sand or some other material to create a berm to get up into that shelter. How we can do something of value, how we can create and manifest things for free. F. E, education and awareness, they go hand in hand. M, speaking of hands, having many hands on deck, and there's a lot of hands in this room that are so integral to creating the change that we want to see. B, being disruptive. Being disruptive, those ramps, they're not allowed to live on city property right now, but what's amazing is that the city's listening. They understand why they're so important, and they're trying to develop policies to allow those ramps to stay in place. Pfaffenbefpa? Catching myself here. F-A-F-E-M-B-E. I went through education. P, putting people first. Yeah, putting people first. So in the name of Jane Jacobs and Vital Little Plans, I invite all of us to work together on seeing the change that we would like to see. So as ambassadors of that important message, let's strengthen our ties and shine, give a big Care Bear stare to the park that we love so much, and make the change that we'd like to see. Yes, I did really say that. Thank you.